Dungeons and Dragons.
And junk drawer. Oh, hey, what's up, man?
What up, my guy?
We're just chilling,
We're hanging out, chilling out,
Hi.
relaxing, all cool.
shooting some b-ball while social distancing.
Yes.
Sucker.
Outside the school.
What?
Just 3-point shots. That's it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dungeons and Dragons and Junk Drawer. We are back with a whole new episode this week, and we are going to start off our announcements with Dice Daddy himself, Justin Beliz.
Are you sure? Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? Announcements that I have. I would like to plug my normal, regular plugginess. Wanted to plug Roll20 for being awesome and versatile. I have some things in my own personal life in the works that I will be finally playing Star Trek Adventures with a whole bunch of nerds. And we're going to be utilizing Roll20. And I gave one of my future players a little tour. And still a great fucking service that doesn't forget to amaze newcomers. Some resources that I have utilized and I have bought on Roll20 include Mythic Portal Games, David Hemingway, and then, of course, Printable Heroes and Kev's Lounge. And also check out Zer Gesture's Artist Shop. Also, that Carlos is so wearing on his body. Also, I would like to call out and shout out Walmart. Now, yeah, Walmart. See that confused expression on your face? Walmart has many goods and services. I had ramen today, and I was very excited because it was particularly spicy. But you know what would have made it better? If I had gone down to Walmart and got Tapatio branded ramen. This is a real thing that I found. They make a chicken and a regular spicy flavor, and it has my boy on it with the sombrero and the mustache, and it is in Walmart. So I will be stopping by and stocking up because it's only, that can't be right, 2 calories.
Per noodle.
So if Walmart.com is wrong, I don't want to be right. 2 calories, baby. And it's also made in, of course, the heart of Mexico, South Korea.
Go
Right,
Florida
that was
schooling.
Pat. No, that's what it says. Made in South Korea. Tapatio.
Up next, we have our keeper of all things social, Mike Spillane. We call him Silly Spilly.
Oh, God.
Silly
Dude,
Billy Bear.
Where did that even start from again?
Your mom called you Mikey Doodles.
That's a different name, though. Where did Silly Spilly come from?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I think that was Craig.
That sounds right.
So,
I would blame Craig.
fuck
Did you spill something
you,
in front of
Craig.
Craig?
No.
Hey, don't steal my thing.
Oh, okay. Frick you, Craig.
Thank you.
So yeah, make sure you're following us on Instagram at The Junk Drawer Show. I've done a lot better with content on there this week, so I think that it will be enjoyable, and I hope that you like it. Also, want to shout out to a new thing that I'm starting to do this week. So I'll show you guys my new fancy notebook. I've created a Dremel Logic log. So now anytime Dremel says something and the rest of us kind of go, huh? I'm going to be recording it, so we should have probably this episode, I might fill the whole notebook up with weird things that he's going to say that'll blow your mind, which is why the notebook is like a galaxy, because it's going to open your third eye. And last thing is shout out to Red Lobster for making the most American drink in the world, the Duarita. Google it.
No.
Because what goes better with crab legs than a Duarita?
It literally looks like the rim isn't like done with salt or sugar. It looks like it's done with Dorito dust.
I hate it.
When are we having 50?
Let's go, baby. Back to you, Pat.
Great. So happy to have it back. Up next, we have Carlos. What you got for us, buddy?
That's me.
That is you.
So I wanted to do something different this week. So I want to start shouting out like different artists, just because, especially during these times, I feel like art and music and anything in the arts community is very important to keep people uplifted and happy. So I wanted to give a shout out to a very good friend of mine, Nicole Cabrera. You can check her out. Yep, Justin knows her as well. She's amazing. You can check her out, all her art at Instagram on Nikki Artsicle, NIKKIARTSICLE. She does amazing work, and then she also accepts commissions, whether it be D&D related, other RP related arts, and so on and so forth. Some of her stuff is amazing, and there may or may not be something for Junk Drawer coming along for us at the end of the month. So whenever she sends me all that jazz, we'll put it on and share it with you guys as well. And I'm really looking forward to it. Her slots fill up real quick, so if you want to check her out, check out her Instagrams, do some commissions for her. By all means, please do so. She's an amazing human being and an amazing artist. So just wanted to give her a shout out. Back to you, Pat.
Well deserved.
We are Instagram friends, and we've spoken like one whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was very nice to her. I was like, hey, I hear you're going to join our campaign. You seem nice. And she was like, oh, thanks. I am nice. And I was like, great. And that's kind of
Wow.
the end
And
of
then
the
he was like,
conversation.
bye, bitch.
She's actually one of like the most. Oh, go for it.
Spoilers, Pat.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
all
red
good.
herring.
I
She could be a
didn't-
total
This
bitch.
is
I
a
didn't even know
sausage
that.
fest, dude. We're never gonna have girls.
No girls
And-
allowed.
Last, but certainly not least, the man of mayhem himself, Galaxy Brain, Josh Dramamine Delgado. What you got for us, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Dramamine? Cause I never get sick. What's up? Just want to say to Mike, most geniuses are not appreciated within their time, so I'm glad you're writing my genius down for
course.
future generations. So shout outs. First, I'm just going to do a big old shout out to the United States Postal Service for delivering stuff to my door so that I don't have to go somewhere. Thank you, United States Postal Service. You are great. My second shout out is to Epi and Eddie, my new trash collectors. Thank you for taking trash away from my house so I don't have to go anywhere. And third, as always, let's say it together. 3, 2, 1. Fuck you, Donovan.
Donovan.
That's right. Fuck you, Donovan, since 1996. Okay. And back to you,
Craig.
Pat.
This is also a shout out to Weight Watchers for when Josh inexplicably gains 60 pounds from not having to go anywhere.
Except to Weight Watchers.
Except to Weight Watchers.
Exclusively to Weight Watchers.
I would like to shout out my wife, as I do every week, because she lets me sit here and play Imagination with you guys, and I appreciate her for letting me do that, because that's truly how marriage works. It really is. It's not a joke.
I wasn't good at it.
I would also like to shout out my mom, just because I love her and she's great, and she showed me an early Christmas present she bought me, and I'm hyped about it. So love you, Mom. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, I'm also going to shout out a friend of the show, Corinne. Hey, she did art for us already. Buy _sugared _strawberries on Instagram. She also takes commission work, and she's got some pretty cool earrings if you're a lady and you like earrings that are fun. I don't know. I've
dudes.
never had an earring. I mean, they come in twos, so unless you'd want... Yeah, that's it. Carlos is showing our awesome Winnie the Pooh art, is what I'm going to call it, because it's fucking adorable and I love it.
Yeah.
But shout out to Corinne. She's wonderful and great. And I will see her in November, because my mom's coming down and we're going to Disney. So I'm excited. That'll be fun.
You better let me know so I can come visit. I love your mom.
I will let you know.
Also,
Not
one
to
more
visit
thing
you,
before you pass it over to Dice Daddy.
Uh-huh.
For those that are watching, remember it is currently September, so make sure you sub to the channel. Hey.
Yeah.
Did you just come up with that?
No, that's
No,
real.
no, it's an actual thing on Twitch.
Oh, please
you can
sub
get like
to us.
discounts on subbing for like a like recurring sub. You can get a discount on it. So
Oh,
do it.
cool. Sub to us, please. Give us money so that we can make
For-
things better for you.
for less money
consumer.
right now.
Yeah. Also, Dice Daddy, whenever you're ready.
Oh yeah.
So, last time we were all together, we had a doozy of a show. The past 72 hours was tense on the boat. Everyone looking to get their own thing accomplished. I always put my camera here, so I'm looking at the wrong place. Where everyone was trying to get something accomplished within that 72 hours. Everyone kind of doing their own thing, eventually being bombarded by storm after storm, literally being in the eye of a storm on this little island. Eventually, the party was able to get inside the Temple of the Storm Lord, was able to take down 3 different elementals that soon formed into one giant 4th elemental of a storm elemental. And they met a storm giant who, upon questioning, found that the party was not a threat to him, and he brought the party down to the artifact that was in the bowels of this temple. And within that, upon touching it, Donnar triggered an event and a recording that had been there for many, many years and many, many centuries ago, to which we found out that Donnar had 3 brothers once upon a time, by the names of Talos, Loki, and he going by the name of Thor. So we left it kind of in that shock and awe. There was a few people questioning the authenticity of this, with Donnar solemnly asking when the last time anyone had heard from their god was. And we'll take it from there in that very tense moment. So the party is currently all staring at Donnar, who is holding this very old, but it looks like it's still sharp. Like it's been sharpened perpetually, like it was upkept, but there's this fine dust over it. As, yeah, the 4 of you, well, 5 of you, are all kind of looking at Donnar.
You sneaky son of a bitch.
I'm sneaky.
Didn't tell us you were a god this whole time?
I didn't remember. I was.
Oldest lie in the
Okay.
book. Right after just the tip.
So got a
Everybody doesn't do just the tip.
Not everyone.
It's just me. Oh, okay.
So like questions and stuff. All right. Since now that you remember that you're a god, I know that since you've lost your memory, being a god's kind of a big detail in that memory. Do you have like the rest of your memories back, or are you kind of just like, is it still flaky?
I mean, it's kind of a weird question to answer, you know. I can remember.
What color are my eyes?
The same color they were before you put your hand up.
God, he's good.
I can remember more about my childhood and my family, but without being pressed, I remember more now than I did before. That kind of jogged my memory, and holding this, and I'll kind of gesture to the axe, definitely helps bring back some memories, I guess. It's not all gone.
Let me see if I can help. And Dremel gets closer to Donnar and just presses on him. This is what you wanted, right? Be pressed?
Yep.
Do you remember more now?
Yep.
All right, Alder, ask again.
What? Which question?
Oh, any of them. I'm pressing him, so he'll remember more.
Oh, gotcha. Well then, in that case, do you have any idea from the memories that you got back what the hell we're about to have to go get ourselves into?
Okay, my arm's tired.
Oh, now I forgot. Oh god.
Damn it!
So bad time to forget things.
I'll turn and look at Alder. No, I'm not aware of kind of what we're running into, but I do know that Helm. You guys know that guy? He's kind of well known, right? In the god plane. I'll kind of look at Thokk. Helm, you know him, right?
I've heard of him.
Okay, so he said that gods were dying. If something is out there killing gods, then the storm of shit we're about to find ourselves in is probably pretty big.
But what can kill a god? Like, isn't the whole point of a god to be omnipotent? Like,
Of course, but everything dies, Thokk.
So, like, what kills a god?
A stronger god, or something stronger than a god,
Like a diamond?
just like a diamond. Yes,
Yeah.
knew it, nailed it. Dremel knows all the answers. I don't know why you guys are asking me things. I'm
you're
gonna
the
look at
god.
Val and see what is Valdana doing.
She's kind of more in, still in kind of this awestruck state, as she's kind of like listening to you talk, and she's kind of moving about the room, and she's lightly touching everything, the casks that you left there all those years ago, the fine dust that was along the different walls and steps, as she kind of runs her fingers, and she goes, "You were here when you were a kid."
Not a kid, but I was young. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
And she
Like-
kind of like looks still confused. It's at this point Osfit kind of and says in the olden Altung, "If you please, sir, it's a little cramped in here."
Oh, of course. I'm so sorry.
No, please don't apologize.
No, of course. Let's let's get out of here.
So you see him, and he slowly starts to lumber up. You hear this sharp intake of oxygen as he holds his side that you guys were able to fix, but there's still some damage there as he slowly starts leaning back up to the staircase, with Valdana slowly kind of like looking you up and down, still trying to process what she learned before following him, as the four of you are in the chamber.
I'm gonna follow him out. I'll be like, hey, I'm sure he's got some questions as well, so we can take this to maybe a place that isn't as cramped as this. And we'll continue, walk and talk.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's fairly quiet on the way up as you kind of hear the lumbering breaths of Osfit, as Val kind of occasionally will glance over her shoulder and then kind of like still processing kind of everything that's going on. Yes, are you
Oh,
asking a question?
Yeah,
Dremel?
yeah. Before we leave or on the way out,
Yeah.
is there anywhere from the battle where like the tiles or anything was cracked and I can take a piece of it?
From the Storm Giant Elemental or in the actual tomb?
Where we fought him, I assume, with all the lumbering and all the fighting, there might be some damage to the surrounding area. And if there is, I'd like to take a piece of that tile that's around it.
Okay. So you won't really see anything of a skirmish until you get to where the stairway kind of formated or formed, where Osfit put down the blood seal and opened it.
Oh,
It looks like there was a time in there where there was a battle, but there isn't one actually in the chamber itself.
yeah, I just care about the fight that we had.
Okay, so that's in the main chamber. So that's, you guys haven't been there yet.
Oh, I got confused.
That's okay, buddy. So eventually the six of you are able to walk up the staircase. You're in that original room that he opened the staircase to, and eventually he goes back to the main chamber hallway where you all had your fight ensue, to which Osfit kind of plops down on one of the pillars, and you see that there's all this damage between what you guys have done and what was previously there before he starts muttering under his breath, and you see him close his eyes as he begins to pray.
Osfit,
And you see one eye open.
I hate to interrupt. What you said? Enya did this to you?
And he holds his side and he goes, "Yes, we thought you were dead, Lord."
Donna's fine. You don't have to. There's not time for
Well,
that.
no, your brother insisted we all called you Lord.
Yeah, he's not here now though, and I promise I won't tell him. So
Okay. I mean, He did turn some of us into other animals, but that's fair.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's Sorry about that.
Yes, no, I wasn't foolish enough. I'm sorry, Lord.
No, it's
Donnar.
Osfit. It's,
Sorry.
Hey, it's fine.
I,
What can you tell me about Enya?
very well. I've been here for 5 centuries, and I only know what your father tells me, and I haven't heard from your father in about 4 centuries. Well, give or take, of course.
He's not still alive, right? He's not.
That's who I was praying to. Occasionally, I pray to seek out guidance, but I haven't heard from him. Of course, being a loyal subject of your father's, of course I'm going to pray to him. I mean, I've also prayed to your brother, and Talos has definitely come and spoken to me, but I haven't heard from him in quite some time as well, and it's quite worrisome. And Lord Loki is gone as well, and so the throne is, for lack of a better term, uninhabited.
Huh.
Would you find my predicament of me trying to contact your father as to what to do next? Am I to bring you straight to Asgard? Am I to have you go on your merry way?
Oh, I can't go to Asgard at the moment.
What?
See, I've kind of made a deal with these guys.
You see this big giant, like they're talking this old language, and Donnar kind of gestures at the 5 of you or 4 of you, and you just slowly see this very confused storm giant look the 4 of you up and down before slowly coming back and going, that one's blue.
Yeah, he's great. Kind of an acquired taste, but still great. And I promised if they brought me here, where I've been drawn, I had an urge and a want to come here, because I thought I'd find answers about Sif and Modi. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but we'll put a pin in that. We'll come back to it.
Sure.
Osfit, I promised I would help them. They're in trouble, all of them, and it's my responsibility to repay the debt.
I mean, you are as good as your word. You do have Bjorn now?
Yeah, gotta go visit Queen Anya as well.
Who?
Queen Anya, she's in Valoria. She's got something else of mine.
I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure where you mean or what you mean.
It's fine. I also don't know very much. It's been a long time. Everything's changed.
Blindness.
So many gods now. It's so weird.
It is weird.
I don't like it.
There was like the 5.
Yeah, no, it's so many. Anyway, yeah. So what can you tell me about Enya?
And you kind of see this fear in his eyes as he looks at the other 4. Perhaps in broken common practice.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm sure they'd appreciate that.
No, yeah, I hate being included.
You don't understand.
And you see him, and he kind of lifts up, and he is 22 feet tall. Like I said, his head starts to kind of almost hit the ceiling as he goes, he tall. And he kind of gestures down to almost like your height with his hand. Mighty warrior has bodyguard. Jotun of fire with him. Only friend I've seen was small when left, but back now, grown. And he kind of looks, he's like, does that make sense? And old tongue.
Yeah, it does. Where did he come from?
Asgard.
He's of Asgard?
He is of Asgard.
Does the name Enya ring any bells to me, or no?
Mm-mm. It doesn't ring. If it was a bell, it wouldn't have the little dangly thing in the middle.
It's
Just
an
the bell.
empty bell.
It's a shot glass.
It's a shot glass. Opportunities are in it.
Do you know where he went?
He said he was looking for that, and he gestures over at Bjorn.
Well, I guess I could assume that he's going to find me sooner or later.
He's collecting the artifacts, the weapons of you and your people.
Quick question. What color robes did he wear? Out of curiosity.
And he looks, they were black and gold.
This is all in Old Tongue still.
This is
Yes.
an old. Yeah.
That's an old tongue, yes.
Once we're outside, I would update you guys. So if you want to take notes, you can.
Have been.
Figured.
He has Gungre.
Do I know what that is?
That's your father's spear.
Got it. How did he get that?
I don't know.
Well, looks like I gotta
Last
get
I
it back.
left, the Allfather had it.
And you said it's been 4 centuries since you spoke to him?
Yes.
How long has it been since you spoke to Talos?
A few years.
She spoke to him this week, and I'll just over to Val.
You thought your brother was dead.
Apparently
And you
not.
see him and he gets up again. Pray, Talos. And kind of gestures to Val, and she's like, I don't understand what's...
And I'll go over. I need you to try and contact my brother.
Your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Perfect.
I just need some time alone. This is a lot. And she kind of puts her arms up. I'm gonna fuck off over there.
I follow her.
And she just seems very shaken. So 3 of you are there. Anything else that you're trying to get out of Osfin?
Probably not. I don't know. I would turn and look, and I'll look at him and go, hold on. And I'll turn to Alder and Dremel, and I'll tell them everything he just told me. Do we have anything else? Is there any more information that you think we could use? I mean, if he's just tracking down... Oh, no.
What do you think?
He might be going to see Moradin.
Who's Moradin?
He's a dwarf. He makes really good weapons, and his forge is on the moon.
Oh, we.
How do we get to? You take.
I mean,
it
I
over.
know how I've gotten to the moon in the past, and that's Helm, but it doesn't seem like he's able to teleport me from here to there at the moment. So we have to come up with something else, I guess.
Maybe I could transform myself into like a space bird.
Space bird, I like that.
Do those exist?
have you
I don't
seen a
know. I've
space
never been to
bird?
space. I've never been to space. I don't know.
Then how are you going
Uh,
to transform yourself into a space bird?
Well, if we find a space bird, maybe I could transform into a space
So
bird.
first we'd have to
It's
get
an idea.
into space, so you could see a space bird, and then turn into a space bird, so we can get into space.
I mean, I'm not hearing any other ideas right now, so I'm just trying to pitch suggestions.
Fair enough.
And Osfit kind of looks at the 3 of you very confused. Base.
I'll turn and look at him. I think that he might be going to see Moradin.
On the forge.
Yeah, that's what I would assume. If he's looking for artifacts, why not go to the one who's crafted them?
Moradin has been asleep for centuries. The forge hasn't burned since your wedding gift.
Yeah, gotta get that back.
So, while you guys kind of formulate that, Thokk, you follow Val, and she gets more deeper and deeper into almost where the temple's entrance is before she kind of turns around and she goes, "What?"
What?
So you've been following me. Why are you following?
I made your cousin a promise. Like, it's a deal. I'm sorry, but I'm just ensuring your safety. Trust me, I'm not bringing any of this up. I'm just as lost and confused as you.
And she just goes, God's thought. Like, I can't handle this right now. And now, no one's heard from Talos, and Talos has been just talking to me since I was a kid. And all of a sudden, now I'm this super important, and I need to reach out to him to make sure he isn't dead. And people are killing gods, and this is above my pay grade, mate. As she starts to kind of push open the temple door, you hear this battering and this lightning of the storm that's outside.
Unfortunately, destiny is a funny thing. You were meant to be this bridge between Thor, I guess is his name now, and Talos. Like, some things are out of our control. But all we can do is see how it plays out. The cards have been dealt. Play them.
And she looks at you and she goes, oh, well, I'll leave the door open. I'm going to go pray in the storm. See if I can act as a lightning rod. Fucking physically, metaphysically, I don't even fucking know.
Well, I'll give you your space, but I will be within sight.
And she kind of nods before she starts trekking out into the the thunderstorm or lightning storm. Before, I would say maybe she's like 60, 70 feet out to where you can still see her, and she kind of plops down, and you see her start armoring herself. As this seems like when you prayed, you would take your armor off and you would doff it and you would put it in the sun's rays. This is a rare opportunity for a storm cleric to be in the presence of an ongoing storm. And you would assume that this is how she charges her armor, and this is how she centers herself.
I will just kind of sit on the ground with the sword on my lap and just watch.
And you eventually start seeing her shoulders kind of shuddering, as eventually you do see that she is crying, as she's like her jaw is clenching and whatnot. So we will go back down to the cellar with Osfit as he starts to get up again. Well, it doesn't seem that there's much need for me to be here anymore. I was hired by your father to protect the axe until you got it back. Of course, an heir to you. Now I might be able to finally die peacefully. As he looks back at the wound, and you see that it's healed, but it's bruising oddly, as he begins to cough a little bit.
Is there anything we can do to kind of help you now? Maybe you get healthier. You know, you live a few more years, centuries, whatever.
I have the world I left and the world that I'm going into are very vastly different, and for that I pity you, Prince. But I'm no good to it now.
You know, if this is goodbye, I found Moonin. Well, should I say he found me?
Your father's raven.
One of them.
Well, that's interesting. And what did Moonin say?
Not much yet. But to be fair, I didn't ask him too much because I wasn't sure of what I'm sure of now. So.
Well, I wonder where Hugin is. Last he was with Talos.
Maybe he's with Father.
In Valhalla.
I don't think that's where he is.
You see him and he nods. Possible. I'll wait the Valkyrie to bring me. As he kind of lurches a little bit forward and you see him get comfortable on the floor.
I'll go over to him. I'll put my hand on his leg.
Mm-hmm. And it's this massive fucking leg that, as you look, you actually see like his blood. It almost looks like it flashes as the neurons kind of brighten and dimmen under his skin as the storm sorcerer slowly begins to weaken.
Safe journey, brother. And I'll see you on the other side.
Maybe drink heavily and fully. And you see him, and he closes his eyes as breathes in as he kind of takes his space. So are you guys staying down here until he passes, or?
No, I'm going to take them upstairs. Leave him to peace.
Don't we want to wait for Thokk and Val?
I don't think they're in the temple anymore. Drem.
Oh, I thought they walked off in another hallway.
No, they walked off to
they
the entryway.
walked off to the entryway.
And then she went out.
Gotcha. Then I would have said nothing.
So I'm gonna bring them. I'm gonna put Yonbyon on my back.
Okay.
Kind of excitedly, but I'm trying to hide it and stay serious in the moment.
And
so
the two of you see this very giddy Donnar, and this axe is massive. It is a long-handled, like the handle is carved out of wood, and the axe itself is slightly bigger than a great axe. It has one massive blade on one side of it, and actually like almost a spear at the tip, that it would be both a piercing and a slicing weapon. And it's inlaid with different golds, and it looks like this older language that you had noticed earlier. As once again, it looks like it's sharp, like it's been sharpened every single day.
So is this something you made?
Oh no, I'm not capable of making anything like this.
So you probably didn't make your temple then either.
I did not.
Damn it. I mean, yeah. Who made it?
Followers of Thor.
Now, how do you get followers?
You just kind of find people that believe in you.
Oh, okay. So, since you already have a bunch, and I have none, can I have some of yours?
I mean, that would be something you'd have to bring up with them, not me.
Well, you're their god, right? So you can just tell them, hey, you're following this guy now. He's pretty cool.
I don't know how many followers I have, Drim. I've been gone for a long time.
Well, I'm sure it's like a high yield savings account where you put them in, and then over time you get more each year, and then at the end you have even more followers that you can give to your brother Dremel.
I don't think it's like that, but if we run into any of my followers, I'll test the water and see.
All right. So, okay, one more thing.
Okay.
So
I kind of expected this, to be honest.
Yeah, so this is pretty important. So you have two brothers, but we're brothers, and I still want to be your brother, but also your brothers are gods. So does that make me a god now?
By association, I think it does.
Yeah, all right, cool. So that means I can start getting followers. Alder, write that down. And, pretty soon I'll have a temple just like yours, right next to yours, so that we're always hanging out, like brothers.
Like brothers.
Well, Dremel, we're brothers, so does that mean I'm a god also?
No, the transitive property only works by one separation of God. So because I'm his brother, I become a god. But you're my brother, so at best you can be a demigod, but that's only if you're like super nice to me and buy me a bunch of things.
Going in the book.
Write that down.
Already working on it.
Down, Timmy.
Oh shit, is Alder my first follower?
I think so.
Hardly.
Nope, it's true. It happened. That's canon now.
Do you
Just,
feel more powerful, Dremel?
What's that?
Do you feel more powerful?
A little bit. Like my left pinky, I think can hold a little bit more weight now.
You can get all the bags of groceries in one trip.
Yeah, but I won't because I'm a god. So my followers do that.
So Donna, question for you.
Yes.
Just because you know that I'm not really religious and I don't know much about it.
Right.
Why did like people follow you? Like, what was you as a god? What were you all about that people followed you for?
I'm the Lord of the Storms. This is the Storm Lord's Island. So, farmers would pray for rain, and safe passage if they were to be traveling by ship.
Dremel raises his hand.
Yes, Dremel.
Yeah, Dremel here, long-time listener, first-time caller. So you get a lot of people praying to you,
God.
right?
I haven't. I actually haven't had anyone pray to me in quite some time. So,
But like when you did, and everyone was like praying for rain, how did you decide which ones to give rain to and which ones to smite?
I mean, that depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah, but like what qualifications would one have to get rain as opposed to getting smited?
I guess you would have to do acts that your god would appreciate and would think was in his or her image.
So what does that mean for you?
For me, it's living a good life, living by your means, being a good person, not seeking a conflict but not turning away from one. There's a lot. There's a lot. Being faithful to your family and your name.
All right, question answered. Back to Alder.
Older, they would pray to me for a lot of things. Rain being one of them. Storms. I'm also kind of I don't know if you've picked up on this, kind of a lawful good kind of guy. So oftentimes the people that needed to be smited, I guess,
Smitten.
smitten. Oh, thank you. The people that needed to be smitten would be followers of people that hurt my followers, and they would pray not for vengeance but for a correction.
Retribution, if you will.
Sure, that's a good word.
It's a $5 word.
Smitten.
I don't think that actually means what you think it means.
Now, as you three are discussing, you do eventually get to the entrance of the temple where you see Thokk kind of leaning on his sword as he's staring out into the storm.
Where's Val, Thokk?
I just kind of like gesture with my head there. I guess trying to pray to your brother?
Talos, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And you just see kind of Val just staring off into, like she's concentrating on some kind of pinpoint as occasionally the sky will be lit up with lightning as this downpour is just completely soaking to her to her core. You do see that she is not in her armor and she's completely in her under armor, which is just, her batten rags and her linens and whatnot.
And I'll look at Alder and Drem. Could you guys do me a favor?
Yes, sir.
Oh God, please don't.
Yes, my lord. I will live within my means and do things that are lawful and good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Can you go check on her? You guys have gotten to ask quite a few questions, and Thokk hasn't gotten to ask any, and I'm sure he's got quite a few.
I haven't taken my eyes off her, by the way. I'm just still staring out at the storm.
Right.
Yeah, sure thing. And Dremel will cast Mage Hand to put it above his head to block a little bit of the rain.
Oh, don't worry about it, and I'll stop the rain outside.
And as he goes, don't worry about it, you see that the rain starts to loosen up. It's still gray outside, and there's still like a shimmering in the air, and there are still lightning bolts that are happening. But the rain eventually goes from torrential to rain to drizzle to mist.
Well, I'll be. And the mage hand slowly lowers and just turns into a thumbs up, and then hops on my shoulder, and like sits on my shoulder like Glover, and I start to walk toward Val.
So, as you do, you actually hear the mud squelching, as this has been years and years of water and decay. And yes, as you're moving through the mud, and eventually you get to Val, who is once again soaked to the core, dripping water dripping from her nose, her lips, her dreads, as she is slowly starting to shiver as the rain has stopped, and it looks like she is still muttering and concentrating.
I'm gonna cast produce flame, so that way I could try and like generate some warmth if it's the rain has subsided, to try and keep her from shivering.
And it looks like she doesn't take notice, but her shivering does subside.
Dremel just sits down next to the fire in like a crisscross pattern and just waits until
And you just hear as you kind of just sit.
I know what you like, Carlos.
Not that.
So we'll go back to Thokk and Donnar, as we see that Donnar has stopped the torrential pour, as Alder and Drummel kind of sit on either side of Val. Thokk, your guard kind of goes down a little bit, but you're still keeping your eyes on her.
So,
So,
what do we call you now? Thor?
you call me
Your
Donnar.
Highness?
You call me Donnar.
Right.
If you'd like, you can call me Thor. It's my birth name. My mother gave it to me. But you can call me Donnar. It's how we know each other, and I would hate to ruin a good thing.
Donner it is, if that's what you prefer. So how long have you been a god?
As long as I've been alive.
How old are you?
I was like a baby god, and fuck, I'm thousands of years old. I don't know, very old. I can tell you that I can tell you that this plane of existence was brand new when I was that age, and I'll gesture back to the temple. When I was that guy, this whole plane was literally brand new. So I'm older than this plane of existence.
So it's safe to say that you were born a god.
Yeah.
So, okay. Sorry, it's a lot to wrap my head around.
No, I understand. I'm sorry that I couldn't produce answers for you guys.
No,
sooner.
it's not your fault, like it's one thing to meet a god in their terms, but to find out you've been traveling with one is just, again, it's not your fault. You didn't have your memories. You didn't remember. You didn't know. But so
Not at full strength for a god, by the way.
currently not. Do you know why?
I've been gone a long time. I was in an alternate plane of existence, and I didn't really do anything. I didn't gain any followers. I didn't do any godly things, so I've just kind of
So-
stagnated.
Speaking of followers, then, what happens to a god if people stop worshiping them? I mean, you've been gone a long time, and is
Very long time.
Is this a thing that can happen? Like, do you know what happened? Do you become mortal? Do you just die? Like,
I wouldn't say you become mortal. As you lose followers, you get older in appearance and in power. And if, for whatever reason, you have no followers left, you kind of just poof. And it's just your time.
you look, and I look at him for the first time during this whole conversation. I mean, you look good. Not, you don't look old. Like, you don't look bad. So I'm assuming you must still have followers. Like,
Yeah, my followers live here.
so you're living among them.
Uh, Currently, yeah. I don't anticipate us staying on this island for much longer because I'm pretty sure Jesse would take the boat and just leave us here, even though we have Val.
I don't think she'd leave her cousin.
Well, yeah, I have some followers on the island. That's why I think I've gotten to retain what godly powers I still have.
Gotcha. Any clerics you may know of? Like, I mean,
Of
you
me
wouldn't
personally,
know. You wouldn't know. Sure. You wouldn't know, I'm assuming, because you've been gone for hundreds of years, and any clerics that worshipped you back then, I'm assuming would. Well, I guess not all of them. Certain races would still be alive. Like, I'm still like trying to wrap my head around. Sorry, like my brain is just fried.
no, you're fine. I don't know of any clerics at the moment. Just got full kind of. I can use lightning again. That was something I couldn't do for a long time. So
You could make it stop raining, apparently, too.
I can do that, and I can control the wind. There's a lot that I can do that you guys haven't quite seen yet, but
Look forward to it.
we have a long way to go.
Hey, can I ask you? I know I've bombarded you with questions, but this is not so much for you. It's for a friend. And I kind of like look around.
Okay. Can I answer for your friend?
What do you suppose happens hypothetically to a cleric who loses faith in his god? I mean, I know what happens when one abandons one god for another, but just hypothetically.
If a cleric loses faith in their god, and they would stop believing in their god, their powers would start to diminish slowly at first, until one day you go to do something and it doesn't work anymore.
So, like, hypothetically, of course,
Yeah, of course.
try if someone, say, worshipped a god of healing and they try to heal and it wasn't as potent or as strong as it should have been or usually is, could be a sign of this, maybe.
That would be, I think, a very big sign that they are looking for some belief, maybe some conversation.
Okay. What do you suppose happens to a cleric who loses faith in himself?
Hypothetically speaking, of course.
Oh yeah, 100% hypothetical, of course. Manu was wondering. He just wanted me to like.
Yeah, no, I love to answer questions to Manu. I would assume that it's the same thing that happens to anyone who loses faith in themselves. It's up to you to find it. There's not a god in the planes that I'm aware of that can put belief in you for yourself. So I would say that that's something that this hypothetical person, Manu, would need to find. And I think he would be able to find that if he decided he would finally converse with, let's just say, Pelor, off the top of my head.
He wants me to what? And as you kind of turn, you see Manu is kind of on the other side of the cave wall.
He's not here right now, but I'll tell him whenever
Tell
I
him
see
I
him.
have a god.
But I just kind of like glance at Manu and like ignore him.
Tell him. Wait. You haven't heard from your god. And he kind of, and Donnar's still kind of talking over as Manu. Shut up, Blondie. And he kind of looks and he goes, I haven't heard from Death. You haven't heard from Pelor. That thing is coming for us. And now we have a god? We can shove him in front of it. Or at least get answers, yeah?
I'm just scratching my head trying to like ignore him as much as I can.
My hand on Thokk's shoulder.
And Manu puts his hand on the other shoulder.
I have all the faith in the world in your friend. And if there's anything I can do to help him or you, conversely, because I can't see him, let me know.
Manu squeezes your shoulder. Tell him about Hotep.
I'll keep that in mind.
And
Thank you.
I'll kind of like give Thokk a pat, and I'll go towards them with Val.
And Hotep kind of like follows slightly to Donnar before turning around. What the fuck was that?
Manu, not Hotep.
Yeah, Manu, sorry.
Well, his last name's Hotep.
Last name's Hotep.
Mr. Hotep.
Mr. Hotep.
Of the Hotep?
No, that was his
Hotep.
father. Stop.
That's my father's name.
What the fuck was that?
It's not the time or the place.
It's not the time or place. This thing is zeroing in on us, mate.
Yes, but it can wait an hour or two. Like, the dude just got a freaking
hour?
rush of his memory. Hundreds of years, potentially, of memory just gotten back to him. Like, I'm not going to bombard him with...
And Manu places his hands over your head, and he cups your cheeks and looks at you, and he goes, my god, Death, is no longer talking to me. Your god, Life, is no longer talking to you. And there is a thing with my name coming after you and I, calling itself Death.
You're... As he has like this, I'm like, you're not wrong.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die. And
You're
not
already
like-
dead.
But not the way that I want to die. What is this thing gonna do to me? To you? To
I'll tell you what.
Tibrin?
I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up when we're back on the ship. It does no good bringing it up now. Like, Val is trying to contact Talos. Donnar I don't know, just got all his fucking memories back. Freaking Dremel's trying to figure out whether or not he's a god or not. Well,
And you just see Manu frustrated, and he kind of pushes himself off with his hand on your chest, and he goes, we might not have time. And he just kind of starts moving out towards the doorway before you start seeing him dissipate. So it's before long that Val is shivering, and you see her eyes kind of rolling to the back of her head as the four of you kind of sit awaiting this answer from Talos, as slowly her nose starts to bleed and drip down as she continues to mutter. Before, not too long, she kind of snaps out of it and coughs a bit, touches her nose as she feels this warm sensation. Sorry, I tried. I'm just getting static. What happened to the rain?
That
It just stopped.
was. Wait, you're over there now?
I'm with you guys.
Yeah, he
Oh,
came over.
I thought you were still talking to Thokk. Okay. Yeah,
storm let
what
up.
he said.
And you see her, and she kind of shakily gets up and uses one of you as a means to get up, as this has weakened her a bit. She goes, "Let's call the fucking ship, eh?"
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah, decent idea.
Dremel casts dancing lights in his hand. On your command.
And you see Val kind of look over at you, Donnar.
And I use light. I touch Dremel's middle finger, and I cast light.
And she kind of looks at the both of you, and you see her, and she kind of shakes both parts of her shoulders of Valdana, and you see this very little storm cloud start to appear above her. And it pushes about 20 feet in front of you as she calls lightning down and has it strike, visibly going from very high up into the sky to the ground to show enough of a signal. And you see her, and she kind of shakes her hands, and you see that they're covered in soot from the the aftermath of the lightning strike. Before you see this giant, almost like dust cloud and this dead grass before she picks up her armor and she starts hobbling past it towards the shore.
But before we go, Donna's going to take a look back over his shoulder. Are there any people coming out? I would assume the storm stopping would have brought people out of their homes, or
You do see from the trees itself, especially now with the call of lightning, you do see several fairly tall individuals, and as they kind of come out more and more, you do see that there is a clan of centaur.
I'm gonna go over, and I'll turn to the group and I'll be like, I'll be right back. Just stay here. And I'll go over.
Can I come close enough to study you? Is that fine?
That's fine.
All right, cool. I'm gonna watch.
Anything else, guys? Are you intrigued by this anatomy, Alder? Do you know what a centaur is, or do you think it might be another splicing?
I think he would understand what a centaur is.
Go ahead.
So I
and
don't
roll,
think you'd.
an intelligence check. I'm sure you know it's not splicing, but
I think you should just roll to see if Alder knows if it's splicing, and then you attack
who did
him.
this to you?
Oh no.
16.
16. You do know that they're naturally occurring, and you can deduce that it is a centaur, but you don't know much about the centaur people.
I would probably leave them to it, and go kind of keep Val company because she seems kind of on edge at the moment.
Yeah. So you begin to follow Val. Thokk, what you doing?
Oh, I'm staying with Val. Like, I'm
Okay.
still. A lot is going on in my head of how to convey the information about Hotep, but also trying to find out what a good time of that would be. So he's just milling it over, thinking like what Manu said, but also making sure that he keeps his promise to Creed about protecting Val.
So the three of you start going off towards the shoreline where you left the lifeboat. As Donnar, you and Dremel start approaching these centaur people, and you see that there's a good portion of them, but you see that there is about three stronger ones looking. Maybe they're the warrior, maybe they're the chiefs, kind of adorned in these animal fat kind of paintings of like war paint. So they're these kind of white, these different kind of white streaks that go across their bodies of like ash and I don't know what the word is.
I'll call
Animal fat.
out in the old tongue. Hello.
Speak in different language.
And the stronger of the three kind of approaches. They have fairly long beard, fine kind of red hair. They're very reminiscent of your kind that you saw back on the material plane when you were younger, almost like Norwegian, but whereas they were full man, these are man beast.
And I'll turn to Dremel and I'll go, stay here. And I'll continue to move forward.
Stay here. Oh, me, gotcha.
Yeah. and I'll go out, and I'm gonna pull Yarnbjorn from my back, and I'm gonna walk up with it in my hands.
And they look, and the strong one, he has a spear, and you see him drive it into the ground before he starts to bow.
And I'll put Yarnbjorn in the ground as well, and I'll just walk up to them, and I'll put my hand on his shoulder.
And he looks at you with these like stony, fierce eyes that they're almost gray in matter.
And I'll look at him and I'll say, "It's been a long time, but I'm back. Tell everyone of my return. I'll be back here soon. Take care of yourselves."
And you see this kind of small smirk come about as he nods. And he puts his hand to his chest and he goes, "All hail the Lord of Storm."
And I'll nod slowly,
And he does not get up until you leave.
and I walk away.
Could Dremel hear that? How far
The-
away? Was,
I mean, it depends on how far away. They weren't trying to keep it secret, but I would say you would be able to hear moderately if you were within earshot.
It was all old tongue though, so I don't know how much you would have gotten.
oh, my first note is to make them talk in a language I don't understand.
Got it.
Hey, speak American.
Perfect. And I'll catch up with Drem and I'll be like, "All right, let's go. I don't want them to leave us off the boat."
Yeah. Okay, now I got some questions. So I've been taking notes. Will you be my mentor?
Will I, your god mentor?
Yeah, so like you do your god thing, and then I'll just learn how to be a god from you, and then like I'll worship you, you worship me, and then it kind of like trades off and it balances out.
We can certainly try.
Yeah. Okay. So another question then. So do gods follow other gods, and if so, is it worth more than a mortal following you? And even furthermore, is there a hierarchy in like what creature follows you? Like, is a centaur worth more than a human, worth more than a dwarf?
I'm not here to put prices on the souls of these creatures.
Not prices, just value.
Yeah, no, I'm not here for that. I don't. I'm not sure. However, gods typically do not follow other gods. We talk to each other. We are among each other. But my father would be the one I would say I've followed in the past. But he seems like he's been gone for a little bit. So
Yeah, well, so were you, and you're fine. So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
I'm trying not to. I've got the fierce, big brain mountain boy on my side. They'll never know what they've got coming.
Hell yeah,
Huge.
brother.
Future god.
Wait, I'm not a god yet?
Future very powerful god.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's what I thought you said the first time.
It is what I said.
I know, you're so smart and pretty.
So the two of you eventually kind of come up, and you see that the Wandering Rose is slowly coming closer towards the shore as Val is sitting in the boat. Thokk, you've managed to kind of set the boat into the water. You're kind of there for push off as you were waiting for the other two companions, and Alder, you're kind of keeping Val company within the boat. As Dremel and Donnar show up.
As we get, once we get moving towards the boat more, I'm going to try and make it storm again.
Okay. So you concentrate, and your eyes begin to flare, and there is electricity crackling as Dremel. You see that Donner's eyes could become completely white, almost like when you guys were in the cave and he floated for that very brief moment. As electricity starts to crackle and the dark storm clouds slowly start to come back, as the storm is somehow stronger than it was before.
I'm gonna control water once again once everybody's on the boat to pull us to redirect flow. and head us towards the Wandering Rose.
It's a little bit easier this time between the control water and I would assume Donnar controlling the storm as well. It does take you a little bit, I would say about 40 minutes to get to the boat itself safely. Before long, you see Brock is starting to hoist down the ladder in his rain slick as he's calling down, and he's going, the storm got worse somehow.
I just look back at Donnar.
Yeah, it's
Don't
crazy.
same thing.
Storms are so unpredictable.
And Val goes, no, he's a blue cow. As the five of you are safely placed back onto the Wandering Rose. Completely fucking soaked to the core again.
Once
The
everyone
ship-
is on the ship,
Wow.
Dremel shakes like a dog again, getting water on everyone
It's
and
still-
everything.
pouring hard, by the way.
Oh, once we get inside to a dry space.
Oh, okay. When you get under, okay, so I would assume the six of you get under level. Then yes, go ahead. Dog shake. Ooh,
Oh, beautiful.
baby shake.
It's
I know what you got.
now
This is how I'm going to
R-rated
get
stream.
followers. Sign up for my OnlyFans.
Is it just us or is it Val with us as well?
Val and Brock are also with you as Brock is taking off his goloshes and his coat.
I'm going
Got
to
it.
turn and look at Brock. Whenever the captain has a free moment, I need to talk to her.
And you see him and he wipes water off his brow. He goes, yeah, no, I'll let her know you guys are back. And you see him and he nods and starts turning back. And Val goes, I'm going to change and get out of this. This is wet.
It's a
And
good
I don't
idea.
want to be, yes. And you notice she does not make eye contact with you, but she gestures over to you and she goes, right. And you see her go off towards her room.
I'm going to turn and look at everyone as we kind of go back down. Once Val's out of earshot, I'm going to go. So that's going horribly.
Every time. It's a lot to process, and she's known you the least amount of time than the rest of us. Is this like common information? Is this something we need to keep shut? Like, meh?
I mean,
I mean, it's your life, dude.
So the only thing that I could foresee being a problem is if word gets out that there's a god traveling the plane, we're going to run into a lot of people who are looking to best a god in battle.
Fair enough.
So-
Brock is not with us, right?
He is not. He's not currently
Okay.
there.
If it's just the four of us, heads up, there is something really important we need to talk about. But I look
Yeah, no, I
around.
told him about Creed. We got to tell her she needs to know.
No, this is far more critical than that. This has nothing to do. This is more kind of your expertise. And I like point to Donnar. I was like, I don't know if you would know the answer to these or not. I would have to wait until Manu comes back. I feel like he is better at explaining this than I am. But there's something going on with celestial plane. I don't know how to explain all of this. For a cleric, I'm a shitty one at that. So, yeah.
So, like,
There's-
what's going on?
Yeah,
Um,
this sounds really important.
I look around. Do I see Manu anywhere?
Manu is currently not there.
So I've been having visions, nightmares, dreams. I don't know how to describe them really. And it for some reason, an entity named Hotep has been speaking to me while I sleep. Manu is in my dreams as well, and we're both aware of everything happening whenever we wake up in the morning. He hasn't heard from his god, or hasn't been able to contact his god, which is Anubis, god of death, and I haven't been in contact with Pelor, which is god of life. And we think that there could be a connection between the two. And the fact that this Hotep being is somehow related to all of it. Um, yeah.
Question to Das Daddy: Does
Yes.
does the name Hotep mean anything to Dremel?
It does not.
Cool. Damn, bro, that sucks.
Yeah, he told me to follow the smell of death, and that's where we will meet.
Sounds a little bit gross.
Yeah.
I've been around a lot of death. It doesn't smell good. So,
Nope. There's not.
how long has this been happening, Thokk?
Exactly how long has this been happening? I don't remember. Out of game.
Literally since what is it? After
Manu
White Pillow?
died.
No.
So yeah.
I would say it was after Manu died. It was the first time was when you guys were on your way to Zunu, I believe. It was around the Zunu time.
That sounds
Um.
right.
Yeah. So it was about the time when we went to go get answers from Zunu. Was the first time that it happened. So since then.
It was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
At first,
so you didn't ask Zunu about it?
we only had one question each, and like I was trying to figure out what Manu was, and we kind of needed to know where the fuck my ship was at the time. To be honest, I don't even remember what the hell question I asked.
You asked about
But
Chip and Manu.
okay, I was like, yeah.
You're right. You're on track.
So we kind of needed to know where the horizon was, and if I would have known that we were going to run into the Wandering Rose, then I would have never asked about the horizon, and I would have just told Sue to just head to the fucking harbor. But it is what it is. Like, can't do anything about it now.
Maybe next time we go to Zunu, if that happens again, we just ask him, hey, what question should we ask? And then he'll know what question we should ask, tell us, and then we'll ask him.
So next time that we meet an all-powerful being, such like a god, ask him the questions that we were wondering about.
Yeah, I
And I
mean,
look at Donnar.
we know where he lives. Oh,
Okay.
oh, you mean Donnar?
You're not wrong.
I mean, gods are all-knowing, supposedly, right? I mean, not trying to be ignorant or anything, but as far as I knew, that's what I was always taught. It's cleric.
That's a lie.
Cool.
We're not all knowing. We just live longer than everyone, so we've experienced more. There's gods that are smarter than others, but
So then,
Just
have you heard about a Hotep? Apparently, this is something ancient. Like,
hold on.
it's
Cowman had his hand up. Ice cream? What can I do for you?
Yeah, thank you. Long-time listener, second-time caller. You said that some gods are dumber than other ones. Which one is the dumbest god?
I don't. You kind of tying my hands here.
He can't hear you, or she, or it,
You
or
don't
they.
know that.
No. I know they can't.
DM, who would I say in my time as Godslayer is the dumbest
Is
god?
dumb.
Loki.
I would not say Loki's dumb.
Say he sucks.
He's very cunning, but
He sucks.
I don't know if there's a god that is dumb, Dremel, but there's. You know what? No, that's a lie. The god of the dinosaurs is probably the dumbest one I know.
Do you remember who that is?
The current overseer of the dinosaurs?
You don't know who the current overseer is. You know who the original was.
Oh, yeah. Well, we talked about him when we went into his temple.
So Ubtao.
Yeah, that one. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the
I
current
know who
one.
you're talking about.
Yeah, he's the dumb one.
Go on.
So,
Uh,
so Ubtao's dumb, or
no, like for all intents and purposes, Ubtao and the people after Ubtao are dumb.
I look at
Ubtao equals
I look at
dumbass.
A good Dremel.
The dumbest god I've ever met was one of the children of Melora, and he was. We are not friends.
All right.
Go
be a
ahead and
child of
roll
Melora.
religion checks, Thokk and Drummel, because obviously Alder does not know who Melora is. Well, no, you actually would know who Melora is because you've heard of Melora. So everyone roll
Religion, you
Yee.
said?
yes.
What up? +0 modifier.
Ba, 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 ba,
It's a
ba.
7.
Okay, great.
It's not going to do it.
It could do it.
14.
14.
I have to refresh. My tablet's being a bit of a punk. I'm going to say I rolled an 11. I think I have a +4. So 15.
Okay.
Big brain boy.
So all of you know of Melora. Melora is the goddess of wilderness and the sea. She's basically the nature goddess. Thokk and Drummel, with your higher rolls, you do know that Melora didn't physically have children in the regard of like you would assume how Donnar came about, but there are certain avatars that their power can be passed down. And you haven't heard of a lot of people that Melora has done that to, but you can assume that that might be who these three are talking of, or someone boned Melora.
Like passed down genetically, like
Shrug. And Atlas shrugged,
And Jesus wept.
for there were no more worlds to conquer. So,
So yeah, he's the dumbest one I've ever met. I don't know what he's doing now, but he was pretty dumb.
All right,
And
good to know.
as that kind of goes, Brock kind of comes out and he's in. You can see he's still damp because he put on drier clothes, but he had to do it in a hurry. And he's like, "Okay, Captain's ready for you now."
Oh, now okay. I'll Hotep. I'm gonna send my best guy on that. I've got it in my brain. I'll be right back.
who's your best guy? Okay, bye.
I was gonna say, ask her if I can stop. If I could borrow the kitchen.
What?
I would have heard that. He said, "Ask her if I could borrow the kitchen."
And
Okay,
tell her
great.
I said hi.
Tell her I
So-
died. She'll be happy about that.
The three of you start going towards Captain Creed's. Anything that you guys are particularly talking about now that
Oh, I was just gonna go by myself.
you're going to go to Captain Creed by yourself?
Mhm.
Okay. Are
That's
you
why
guys...
That's why I relayed the message.
Got it. Okay. Never mind. So, Donnar, you go with Brock up to the captain's quarters, and you're hit once again with that familiar smell of firewood and wine.
I'll look at Brock and I'll say, "Do you ever get used to that? Is just alarming every time."
And he looks and he goes, "It is, but then again, I think it's my niece." And then it goes away.
I don't have that luxury, but thank you.
You don't. And you see him and he lightly taps the door before you hear "enter." And the door opens as you see Jessica, and her hair is currently put up in a bun, and she has several maps out in front of her. And she looks up briefly and goes, "Found what you're looking for."
Yeah, I kind of need to talk to you about something.
And you see her, and she looks over at Brock, who nods, and he closes the door gently, and she gestures over for you to come closer as she's navigating.
And I'll go and I'll bow my head as I always do, Captain.
And see her, and she goes, "Donna."
Val's a little shaken.
And she stops looking, and she goes, "Shaken how? Is she okay?"
She's fine. She's fine. Whew. How can I do this quickly?
Oh, you guys didn't fuck, did you?
No.
You were
what?
on the island
No.
for like a few hours.
Yeah, no, we didn't fuck. There was people that came with us. It wouldn't be.
I mean, I'm
also
pretty sure Drummel
married.
likes to watch.
He does like to watch. He's expressed it.
He has.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we
All
didn't
right.
fuck.
Sorry. I'm sorry for.
No, it's fine.
And she goes back down to her map.
You know Talos,
I know of him.
and you know he talks to Val.
I know of it.
Okay. Supposedly Talos was dead, but he's been talking to Val, And we also may or may not have found out that he is my older brother.
And she kind of stops what she's doing and she goes, just to catch up speed.
Yeah.
Talos, who's been talking to Val since she was 12, might be dead.
No, I don't think he's dead. Everyone thought he was dead,
Mm-hmm.
but he's been talking to her, and he talked to her last week.
Uh-huh.
So he could be dead now?
Okay, so I'll scratch it. And you see her air scratching, so dead.
Maybe. We're not sure.
Maybe, I'll put it in brackets.
Yeah,
and
perfect.
you think he's your older brother.
No, I know he's my older brother.
Sorry. So that would make you...
A god.
And your god name is...
Thor.
You're Thor.
I'm Thor.
Wow. And you see her and she goes, where's your hammer?
I'm working on it.
Working on your hammer, okay.
But I did get this, and I'll pull Jarnbjorn out from my back and hold it.
That is quite a big axe.
Yeah, it's quite old.
And then she kind of goes around and she goes, Thor, can you fly?
I'm working on it.
Okay. What about the that rainbow bridge, the Bifrost? What about that? That comes down and you can ride on it on a Pegasus.
Yeah. I'm
Working
I'm
on
aware.
it.
Yeah.
Working on it. All right. So we'll put a pin in this god thing.
Captain Creed, look, I know it sounds ridiculous. Gods are dying. When was the last time you spoke to yours?
To Lady Soon, she's more of a hands off, but I mean I pray to her quite often, I would say within the past few weeks.
Okay. Have you experienced any dissipation of power? Any crazy static? Not being able to get through? Not feeling like you're heard?
Not entirely. How much do you know about Lady Soon, Mr. God?
She's kind of newer for where I'm from.
So you would know she's not on top of Mount Celestia.
Yes.
You would know she's in the Beastlands. That's her material plane. That's where she drives power.
Captain, I have word from Helm that gods are dying.
Fuck. And you're positive. Gods. All right. I have some messages to make. If you see my cousin, please have her come in. If not, I will personally see to seeing her as well. I have. Fuck. Okay. And you see her, and she starts clearing the different maps.
I'm gonna put my hands on her desk, and this is the closest I've kind of gotten to her.
And you're hit more with those pheromonal smells.
And I'll flatten them out. Captain, what are we going to do?
I have to make a few messages that I'm not keen on making.
What does that mean?
Particularly, I don't want to call the queen and tell her that gods are dying. I also don't need her royal guard here, the little person, dwarf of Helm, on my ship, nosing about. We all have a shaky understanding, and I don't need my father.
Captain, leave Queen Anya to me.
Go on. Please.
She is of my blood.
And she's not going to give a shit about that.
I mean, she's gonna care.
This is a woman who has single-handedly killed an iron dragon. Do you know what an iron dragon is?
Do I know what an iron dragon is?
No, you
I
have
have no idea what that is.
fucking iron dragon is.
No.
Dragons were
Fucking,
like, what is it? Different kind of color spectrum. And you knew of Bahamut. You knew of iron, not iron. I'm sorry, like silver, copper, gold. And she goes, iron dragons are incredibly rare and they're incredibly powerful. Now, in the Dragon War, I don't know if you've noticed, Mr. God, there's been no undead for ever until 60 years ago, when this iron dragon rose itself up and became a Draco Lich on its own, by itself. It's very hard to do when you're already dead.
Got it. Okay. You've connected the dots for me, and I appreciate that.
I mean, would a dragon wizard scare you? Because it would scare me.
No.
Regardless, It wiped out armies. And there was one person that stood above that. And that was Queen Anya.
I understand. Let me handle Queen Anya.
If she's your descendant, where are your wings?
I don't have wings.
She has wings.
Yeah, I know. I don't have wings.
Sort this out. And
Nor-
I'll sort this out.
This is new information. I've just got this. You know, you just said we've been gone for a few hours. In that time, this is what I've got. And I'm giving it to you because we talked about being open and having an open line of communication.
Right. Just, this.
Also, Aldo wants to know if he can use the kitchen
Why?
because he wants to cook stuff.
I don't give a fuck.
Cool.
Don't tell him not to break anything, or I'm gonna break his hands because I have more important matters now on my hands. Shit.
Captain,
Yes.
not to overstep. Can you keep me in the loop as to what's going on?
I can keep you in the loop as best I can. Yes.
I would appreciate that.
Now, I need to make some scrying calls and messages.
And I'll bow my head,
Please,
Captain.
I think we're on the same level now, if not you more.
I'll bow my head and I'll just say Captain, and I'll walk out.
God. As the door kind of closes, as all this information processes. So, what are you guys doing during all of this, as the boat has been navigating away?
So, like,
Where are we?
Wherever you'd like to be.
on the boat.
Yeah, we're sitting inside.
Correct, you're on the boat.
Very good. I'd say we're probably sitting where Thokk made a drunken fool of himself.
Okay, so you're in the ballroom,
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Memories.
and it is an empty ballroom. Like there's no one else in there, and you guys kind of have the entire room to yourselves as you all kind of slouch in your chairs, soaked.
Is there anyone behind the bar?
There isn't, but you do know there's bottles of booze behind the bar.
Oh, I grab one for each. And a fourth one for Donnar because I know he's coming back eventually.
Right.
One day.
So
I'll pay
So,
her
like-
back.
So, like, she lets me use the kitchen. What do you guys want for dinner? I feel like today's been one of those days where, like, we need a really good meal.
I feel like today
Something-
is a day that I feel like I need to wake up from.
I feel like today's
Yeah.
a day that I need a really big steak and maybe a side salad to balance it out.
Just to like a 24-ounce porterhouse and then like a cup of leaves.
Yeah, I don't know what that middle
Okay.
word you said was, but yeah, give me 24 ounces of food and then like the little garnishes that go on top.
Like pine cones?
Gotcha.
Yeah, like pine cones or pine needle, something pine. Pine sol. I
I
don't
mean,
care.
I gotta wait and see what I can work with in the kitchen, but
We'll just find one of those
think you
fish and then kill it, and then that's my steak. Just make sure it's a big ass fish that's at least 24 ounces. I know measurements. And then I'll eat all of it.
I mean, technically a fish isn't a steak. It's a little bit different, but okay.
You clearly don't know much about culinary arts.
I mean, you saw what I was able to make with the prison food.
Yeah, I mean, some
Clearly
great
I have
musicians
some-
can't read music. You know?
I don't understand why you're being so mean to me right now.
I'm not. I'm just
Literally
saying.
offering to make you food.
I know, but I'm trying to enlighten you as a newly found god that fish can be steaks.
More like God adjacent. I don't think you're a god.
No, I'm training. I'm a god in training. I'm a git.
Okay. While this is going on, Donner eventually
More like a jit.
you show up to the
Before I get back, I'm gonna make a pit stop
Mhm.
in the room. I would go in there looking for them first, assuming that they're all drenched and they would want to change.
and you don't see any wet clothes.
Sick. I'm gonna kneel and start to try and reach out to Helm.
And what are you trying to reach out to Helm? What message are you conveying?
I just want to essentially just be like, hey, does the name Hotep mean anything to you, and is that linked to what's going on with us, with our people?
After a moment or two, you hear very softly in the back of your head,
Would I take that as a grunt of affirmation? I understand you're busy.
"No, idiot."
Got it. Can you get back to me on the name Hotep? You've got a little more access to resources than I do right now.
I'll keep an eye out.
That's what you're best at.
Funny. Nice axe.
Shut up, I'm working on it. And I'll get up and I'll go look for the guys.
Okay. And that's eventually, as they're talking about being gits and whatnot, you do find your three companions.
What is a git?
Oh, it's a god in training. You know, the thing I am.
I think it's
Yeah.
pronounced more of a jit, actually.
No,
Who's the
I
god
think
in
it's
training?
accurate. Donnar or Dremel's a git.
He's the number one jit in my eyes.
Okay, so the word god starts with a g sound, so it's going to be git, and it's a term I made up, so it's not jit, it's not janitor in training. I've already done that for too many years.
I'm a master janitor.
I'm no longer in training. I'm an MJ, but not the bad kind.
What's the bad kind?
Oh, you know the old fairy tale of the Michael Jordan, not Michael Jordan, God, Michael
Jackson?
Jackson.
All right, you jit. Let's figure it out.
That's offensive to me and my followers.
Who's your followers?
What Alder for one, working on Donnar.
You do know Donnar was born a god, right?
Yeah, some people are born a god. Some people rise to the occasion.
You don't want to rise to the occasion.
Do they? Do I know of Thanks, Daddy, do I know of any gods that have risen to the occasion?
Yes, the Raven Queen.
The Raven Queen.
Got it.
You don't want to rise to the occasion, Drem, just for future notice. I used to be in a position known as the Godslayer. And what I would do would be creatures that wanted to be gods. I would come down from Asgard and kill them.
Yeah, but I've got you on my side, so I don't have to worry about that.
Well, I'm not the Godslayer anymore, but yeah, I just be aware. I don't know who's in that role or if it exists anymore, so
Perfect. No more Godslayer. I am safe. Let my drive for power consume me.
I really don't think that's what he said.
that's not what I said.
Yeah, it's okay. I didn't write that one down.
Oh, that's good.
Good, yeah.
It's called humor, guys. I'm going to be the god of
it.
humor and watching.
Watching what?
If you have to
Yeah.
ask, you're not part of it.
I thought he was your first follower.
Follow? Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Donna, did you find out about the kitchen?
Yes, she said she doesn't give a fuck, but if you break anything, she's gonna break your hands.
Fair enough. What do you want for dinner? You had a big
Uh,
day. Found out you're a god and all.
Yeah, I guess that qualifies as a big day. Whatever we're having for dinner, I guess. I'm not super particular.
All right. Well, Drem wants big steaks and side salads, so I'll see what I can whip up for you guys. Obviously, well, discourse first, but just planning for later in my mental capacity.
Don't hurt yourself.
Try not to.
Take notes.
Where are we headed now? Aside from, are we just gonna go to Green Coast from here?
I don't know. So, it would be beneficial if we talked about this as a group. I have a vested interest in Valoria.
Same?
Yeah, what you don't know is that Queen Anya is like my great 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 granddaughter.
She's a god too.
She's not a god. She's her lineage was diluted over many bloodlines and with intermingling with mortals. So she's not a god. She's what I know she's an avatar.
You wouldn't be clear, but I mean,
She's
based
not-
off of, I don't know if they shared the Melora avatar with you information.
Yeah.
But if they did, then that would infer that.
She's not capable of ascending to godlike levels. I don't know where she's at in the pantheon of things, but over the years she's been nerfed.
Is that a god term? What the hell is nerfs?
She's not as strong as a god at full power could be, which is not me. So that's not to say that she's weaker than I am. I've been gone for quite a long time, and I have like 6 followers. You saw them on the island, but she's not. She's most likely not a god, but she is in danger.
Got it.
So it would
Weird.
just depend for me on when and how long it's going to take to get to that harbor and then get to Valoria. Because we only had... The Zunu told us 6 to 8 weeks before the Man in Crimson was in Valoria. And we want to be there to surprise him.
And then kill him
For that purpose, yeah.
with weapons.
Ideally, yes.
All right, cool. Not kindness.
No, not kindness.
Oh,
DM, would I know where Valoria is?
You would have passed in Valoria before.
And then, so from Green Coast to Valoria, would I know how long my ship would take to get there? Or like the nearest port to Valoria?
You would know that Green Coast is closer to Valoria. It is almost a straight shot to where Flamingo Bay is. It would take a few weeks or like a week or two to get to Flamingo Bay and then another week or so to actually get up to Valoria.
So that's only 3 weeks, right?
That is
3
3
to
weeks.
4, depending if the winds are on our side, which I look at Donnar, I'm like, will the winds be on our side?
I could help make the winds on our side.
Then more closer to 3.
I can help too. With the winds.
and I'll be supportive.
And Dremel pantomimes blowing air.
Ooh, don't do that in here. I don't want you to like blow the side of the ship out. Captain Creed will get mad.
And it'll be all Thokk's fault.
No, it'll be Dremel's fault. He's very powerful now that he's a git.
That's true. I am a git now. I probably shouldn't just throw my powers around willy-nilly.
It's probably for the best, Drem.
All right. And
Careful, you might sneeze and it might blow the side of the ship out.
all right.
true.
Don't sneeze. Ever. Gotcha.
Never, ever, ever. Oh no, we're going into the black peppercorn mill.
The black
is my
peppercorn
worst
mill. It's right
nightmare.
next to the feather factory.
And Thokk's like, no! That's gonna make him sneeze!
Oh
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Okay. So how is the rest of the night gonna kind of go down? As Alder's gonna be making you food. Some din-din, if you will.
Some good, if you will.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep
Donna's
drinking
gonna
with
be-
Thokk.
Studying his book. One with the new gods.
With the newer gods.
Yeah. And he's gonna, when he's not reading his book, he's gonna admire his axe.
Okay. And
It's like having an old friend.
you guys are all kind of hanging out. Alder, you're kind of working in the kitchen. The bar actually behind in the ballroom has like a miniature kitchen. So I don't know if you want that or you want the grand kitchen, or you're going back and forth for ingredients.
I'll probably be going back and forth for ingredients, but if this kitchen's not being used by anybody and the other kitchen's being used by like boat staff, I'll probably use the mini kitchen just to stay out of everyone's hair a little bit more.
So you do, but every once in a while you're like, oh fuck, coriander, and then you have to run all the way back over. Like you have to run to the other side of the ship, and then you're like, fucking, this better taste amazing. But eventually you're able to procure, after I would say about an hour or so of just straight cooking and marinating and getting these different kind of ingredients together of no meat but high protein, lots of beans, as eventually, Donnar, you've been admiring your axe and you kind of go to sharpen it and you run your finger along the edge and it just immediately just splits it. As you're like, fuck, it's still sharp. Hell yeah.
I love this thing.
And Drummel, you're just kind of like watching him, hand fucking his axe. And Thokk is also, you're also kind of just watching Donnar occasionally like try to read his book, look at his axe, pick up the book again, try to read it, put it down, axe.
I think Thokk was also pantomiming that he was going to be drinking pretty heavily. I would like to be drinking. I'd like to drink with him, and when he gets to a suitable level of drunk, I'd like to try out some betting card games on him.
Okay. So eventually, you guys are all kind of hanging out. Donnar is working with his axe. You guys are playing some like bluffing games, and eventually, Alder comes back with this wonderful dinner that he had procured for all of you.
Woo! It's about time for food.
Hope you guys enjoy it. I haven't cooked like this in a while, but I think it's I'm pleased with it.
Man, I'm sure we will. Your cooking was the only thing that got me through that our prison stint.
Well, I mean, they didn't give me shit there. There's some nice things on this boat, so bone, apple, teeth, as they say.
Hell, oh, you got apples too?
Oh yeah, of course. Bones, apples, teeth, everything's in there.
I don't see an apple.
Don't worry about it.
Oh,
But
God,
you
whose
said
teeth are in here?
there would be an apple. There's not an apple, and I really wanted an apple now.
It's really ground down into it.
Oh, okay, all right.
A little bit of apple in every bite.
Calcium. So you guys kind of enjoy the rest of your night. You guys are able to eat dinner. Are you doing anything in particular before passing out? After your eventful day?
I'm going to try and catch Thokk in a moment before he goes to sleep. Just in when we're like away from everyone else.
Okay. Alder, Drummel, anything before you guys go off?
Wait, go ahead, Drim.
No, you go first.
No, I don't think there's really anything that I would want to do aside from maybe try and go by Valdonna's room just to like knock on her door, make sure she's doing okay. Obviously, don't want to impose, but I've never seen her out of it in the time that we've been traveling together, so just want to be polite.
So you do knock, and eventually she opens the door, and you see kind of that sliver, and you see this eye of silver just looking back at you, and she goes, or I'm sorry, her eyes are gold. This eye of gold looking back at you, and she goes, "Oh, Alder, hey."
Hey, I just wanted to check on you and see if you're doing all right. Today's kind of been a hell of a day.
She kind of goes, "Yeah, I'm a little shaken up. Do you wanna come inside?"
It's up to you. And I would assume that I probably had some leftovers. So I'd be like, in case you're hungry, kind of bring her some food.
She opens the door, and you guys kind of sit crisscross from each other as you guys are picking at the food.
So, like, finding out that your god is the brother of the guy that you needed to help get to that island is kind of a lot for one day. I honestly don't even know what most of that means, but I think I'm putting it together. How are you doing?
It's a lot. And I wish I would have known instead of you'll know when you see him. And, a blonde man will come to rescue me when I most need it, and he'll guide me to where I need to go.
Cool. Okay, well, no, I mean, hey, we didn't know he was a god either, so that was kind of really eye-opening for the whole group. But I think it's going to bring us all together somehow. I'm not usually terribly optimistic, but I think this is going to be something really shitty's going to happen, but then things are going to get better.
Great.
I don't know how shitty, but like really shitty. It seems bad.
And she kind of smiles as you two kind of are picking at your plates. Drem, what were you going to try to do?
Sorry, I was reading your message. Where are we at? I want to go to Creed at toward the end of the night.
Okay.
Past that, I think I'd just be practicing my card tricks, and you know those cups where you had a ball under it. Those things.
Try to be quicker. Eventually, you do get conference with Creed, and she is in a more haphazard state as her hair is up, and she makes eye contact with you as you come in, and she goes, "What the fuck?"
I thought you'd be happy to see me.
Do you know what I'm talking about? What the actual fuck? Is it true?
Oh, you mean Donnar? Yeah, he's a
Yes,
god.
I mean fucking. And she gets up and she goes, "Does he know?"
Does Donnar know?
Yeah.
Oh, no, definitely not.
And she kind of puts her hands up. Are you planning on saying anything?
No. Let's hang out and talk.
Okay, let's talk.
So I'm working
Did
on
you
this.
learn anything interesting in the cave? In your temple thing? Maybe something that you would want to tell people in your friend group?
Well, I learned that there was a giant, and did Donnar relay all that information about? Was it not Elway? Was it
Osfit.
not John Elway?
Enya.
Enya.
No, I would not have disclosed anything about Enya.
Okay.
John Elway.
John Elway.
Horse mouth.
Well, I met a really cool storm giant. So if there's those storm giants, there's going to be a bunch of storm giants, and probably some ice and some fire and some earth, some hill, all those kind of things. So that was pretty cool. I'm trying to be a god now too. And, yeah.
Trying.
Yeah, so I'm a god in training. I'm a git. And I walk closer and put my hand on the table, and I say, Creed, it's gonna be okay. Just, hey, no, just trust me, okay? I know what's going on. We're learning more about Donnar. We're learning more about everything. It's all gonna be all right. Just take a deep breath.
I don't know what the fuck's
No.
going on.
Take a deep breath. Now smile. Man, that's such a good. You have such a pretty smile. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Now exhale in through the nose, out through the mouth. That awesome. That was so good. You're so smart and pretty, and that's why we're so close. Listen, Creed, it's gonna be all right. I promise you.
You keep saying that.
You know me.
Gods are dying.
We're gonna stop it. Look, we got a god on our side now. And a god in training.
So 2 gods.
2 gods. I mean, your words,
Like I
not
got in a
mine.
third.
You're not here.
I know.
Alder's like, I feel a disturbance.
I feel like Dremmel's calling himself a god.
My only believer is losing faith.
Oh no, I'm disappearing.
Whoa. Look, we got 2 gods, your words, not mine. And then we got these 2 guys who are cool as fuck. They're not gods, but they're like pretty neat, you know? One can cook, the other was like super brooding.
Yeah.
So, we'll be okay.
I don't understand you.
No one does. But look, Creed, you've seen... And Dremel takes a bit of a tonal shift as he kind of sombers down, gets on our level. Listen, Creed, you've seen inside my head. You've seen inside my soul. You know what I'm saying is true. It's going to be okay. And even if I don't know how, or what the path is to get from here to the okay place, it's gonna happen. When I set my mind to something, I accomplish it. So, the Red King will die. We'll save Donnar's god, family, and friends. And I'll find the dumbest one and usurp them.
And you see kind of this small smile as she nods. It's a good plan.
Say that again.
She says that's a good plan.
Thank you very much. Now, I know you're already following soon, but could I interest you in split custody? And you can be my second official follower after Alder. I have a book that I'm working on. Well,
It's
my
at that
follower's
point.
working on.
The visage kind of cracks and she starts smiling. And she goes, and what do you have to offer to me?
I'm a fantastic conversationalist. End of list.
She goes, go on. Had
No,
a bit of that already.
No. I said the thing, and then I said end of list, and that it was supposed to be enough to persuade you. Is that not working?
And she kind of gets up from the desk and she starts circling the desk. She goes, not entirely, no.
Okay, hold on. And Dremel pulls out his book, looks over the notes. All right. Show off your power. Make them bow. I feel kind of weird making you bow, so I'm not going to do that one. Speak in a different language that you do not understand. Do you know any languages I don't know?
And she kind of looks and she gets closer. There's that smell of crushed cloudberries. And she goes, don't think so.
Yeah, that's fine. I think we can probably skip that one.
And it's at this point she kind of takes the book and she tosses it to the side and she goes, kind of tired of reading now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even read. I was like, fuck these glasses. Right? Like, why would I ever read anything ever?
She goes, it's probably smart. And you do eventually feel her arms wrap your neck before her lips become crash to yours. As she also tastes like crushed cloudberries, which is interesting.
You taste like cloudberries, which is interesting.
That is interesting. Cloudberries. I don't know if I've heard of that before. As she's saying in between, like kissing your head and your cheeks and your neck.
Oh, hey, yeah. I'll bring some to you sometime. That would be fantastic. We could share them and make them wine, maybe.
And we'll pan to the side.
To the fireplace.
To the fireplace, if you will. As Dremel does not only watch, but perhaps partakes.
Oh yeah!
Good thing there's a mirror in the room.
No, you're literally just gonna go straight.
Trevor's like,
Patrick
hold on, I
Bateman,
gotta
just-
put this up.
He casts scry on himself so he can watch himself.
You're doing so great, Dremel.
straight
Glover's
Patrick
like
Bateman
this.
in
I must paint you. Glover, paint this. So I may watch later in a flip book. So while that two thing is happening, Donnar, you said you were going to pull Thokk to the side. A tipsy Thokk. if you will.
Yeah.
Well, if Alder's cooking and Dremel's tremoling.
Well, Alder's done cooking. He's talking to Val now.
You
This is
already ate,
post
baby
dinner.
girl.
Oh, okay, but he's not in the room that we were at then.
No, they eventually left the ballroom unless you guys are staying in the ballroom.
I'll stay in the ballroom, just kind of like prop my feet against, like on a table, just like staring at an empty stage and just drinking, just staring into the stage, thinking.
Okay.
Being that it's just me and Thokk in the room, I'm going to be sitting in my chair, not having partaken in any alcohol.
I saved you a bottle.
But I'm going to be tossing a ball of lightning back and forth between both hands, and just kind of like shaping it and controlling it, and then going back to throwing it back and forth between my hands.
And you see it. It's almost like wisping and like it's becomes a gas and then a liquid and then a solid and then back to a liquid again. Like he's able to form this, and it has this unearthly fluidity to it. Thokk, as you watch him kind of play with this lightning.
So
I don't know anything about your Hotep, but I have my best guy looking into it.
cool.
I'm hoping to have some information maybe soon. Maybe we reach out to Ishiki. He's got good contacts.
Oh yeah. Do you think it'd be rude to cast sending and this time of night?
I
don't wanna,
don't think it's ever rude not to cast sending. So, when in Rome,
I just don't want to wake him. I feel bad. Do you think it's related? Just
it's
the
almost
original.
too much of a coincidence not to be. In some
Yeah.
way, at least.
Because if that's the case, so the only thing that can kill a god is something more a stronger god, a more powerful god.
Something more powerful than that god. I mean, fuck, I'm not immortal. You've seen me go unconscious multiple times.
Yeah, but
Not-
you also didn't remember who you were. You didn't remember your potential.
It's true. But it doesn't mean I'm not vulnerable. You know, I can shirk off some things. Radiant damage, necrotic damage doesn't hit me as hard as it would hit, someone else in the party. And obviously, thunder and lightning don't do much either. But I'm not impervious. I can still die.
But you can come back. Can you
I could
not?
come back. Or I could just not die in the first place, and we can all ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, that's recommended. Dying's not fun.
Well, Helm is looking into Hotep. And if there's anyone that I can trust with finding some information, it's Giffen.
Okay. Manu's very shaken up. I guess is the word I'm looking for. He's very worried.
About
And
what?
just Hotep. It's It's got him kind of in a weird headspace. God, sometimes I just wish that y'all could just talk to him directly. It'd be so much easier.
Yeah, but that's not why he's in your head. He's not here. He's not there for us to talk to him. He's there for you to talk to him.
I mean, why? Like, he doesn't know why. I don't know why.
You know, Thokk, one of the first things you ever said to me was that God's work in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
So, God's work in mysterious ways. Who knows why he's there? But use him. There's a reason.
I will take that into consideration.
When was the last time you spoke to Pelor?
White Willow, maybe?
You hadn't actually physically spoken to Pelor back in White Willow, but you got mild influences of warmth and that he was there. The first time you laid eyes upon Pelor was when he resurrected you. So about 7 years ago.
So directly, haven't talked to him in about 7 years since I abandoned Anubis and he brought me back.
I would maybe try and play with him tomorrow. If not-
God's
If not for you, for me.
I will do my best. Gods are a little more difficult to reach out to here than they were where I come from.
I'm sure he would. If you're a cleric of Pelor, you're a cleric of life, I'm sure he would do a lot for you. So, just try.
Oh, I'm not sure if I'm doing a good job at it. I guess preserving life, it's a lot to keep on someone's shoulder, and when you don't do your duty, it takes a toll. And it's getting, I'll hold my holy symbol in my hands and I'm like, it's getting heavier to carry sometimes.
Heavy lies the crown, right?
Yep. But what do you do when it's too heavy to carry?
Carry it some more. You say you haven't been doing a good job of being a life cleric, but without you, Valdana dies in that temple. Without you, I would have been dead 10 times over before I could even find out who I was. I think you're doing a damn fine job. And maybe you need to lighten up on yourself a little bit.
Maybe. I guess we are our own worst critics, right? It's not how you think you're coming across, but how it's being perceived that it's important.
You know, the funny thing is, Dremel wants to be a god, and I find it hilarious because being a god is extremely stressful.
I can imagine. Do you want to be a god?
I do. I do want to be a god. I enjoy being a god. For the 6 hours I've remembered that I was a god. But It's really difficult to hear prayers and know that there's people reaching out to you for help and aid, and you being unable to assist all the time.
Yeah.
Can't give everyone everything always. And when you pick and choose, when you have to pick and choose, it carries a burden.
I'm sorry that you have to carry that burden.
I'm sorry that you have to carry this.
Thanks. So, I have a question about that, by the way. The whole praying thing.
Okay.
Do you like hear every single person that prays to you?
I do.
So, like, let's say if I'm like, on the other side of the ship and I pray to you and be like, yo, Donnar, come here. Can you, like, pick me up a sandwich and bring it to my room? Like, will you hear it? Like,
It doesn't
is it like
work
sending?
quite that way. There are limitations. You have to be a follower of mine.
I mean, I'm
In order
following you to the Isle of Storms,
anymore,
so,
you're not.
I mean, you're not wrong. I guess you're following me now.
I am.
So
So
does that mean I hear your prayers?
I hope not.
Likewise. Don't tell Dremel though.
I would never.
Maybe you should.
Oh, fuck, you're an agent of chaos. It's something my brother would say.
I can't be. Thank you.
Pelo's
You sure you don't?
He is, I promise. I've not met him in quite some time, but we've crossed paths before.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a good and righteous God. And if he's able to help you and he's able to hear you, he'll let you know. And if he's not, then we might be more fucked than I thought we were.
Well, here's hoping we're not fucked. I think I'm gonna go to bed.
Good night, Thokk.
Good night, Donnar. And thank you.
Of course.
Now don't let the whole God thing get to your head. I could still kick your ass, and I'll walk out of the room.
Donald will sit there and smile, and under my breath I'm going to whisper, yeah, you tried once. It didn't work.
I heard that.
He is very perceptive. Okay. What are you doing for the rest of the night, Donnar?
I'm just going to sit up, look outside, and kind of... This day's been overwhelming for me, but I've tried to answer their questions and be as available to them as I can. And I'm actually going to look for any sign of mooning.
At some point, after an hour or two, you do see Moonin land in the front of the bow of the ship where you were kind of standing. And looks at you inquisitively as now the rain has lessened more and it's more moderate. As it's very loud. Sorry. And he looks at you and he goes, "Did you find your answers?"
And I'll reach on my back and I'll pull out Yarnbjorn.
Ah. So you have reclaimed being an Odin son again.
Apparently. There is an answer I didn't get, Moonin.
Yes.
Osfit is hopefully on his way to Valhalla right now.
Yes, I believe what is left of the Valkyrie are picking him up now.
It's good to know. What happened to Sif and Modi?
In regard to current status, they are in the Great Hall.
They're in the Great Hall of...
Valhalla.
How did they get there?
Well, and you see the kind of eye move. Sif was there for a while, but she is no longer there. Beyond my eye. But Modi is there, amongst the rest of his comrades. You are sad.
Yes, Moonin. Is my father there as well?
I do not know where your father is.
We should probably try and find him then, shouldn't we?
I would assume so, unless he is sleeping. As you do know, Odin does have a long sleep.
Let's hope that that's what it is. Is Talos in Valhalla?
I cannot find Kalos. He was with Grungrir last time, or Grunin. Grunin. However, I have lost contact.
Do you know anything about shit, what was his name?
And yeah,
No, I was gonna ask about Hotep.
And
It's before my time.
the raven looks at you quizzically. I do not know of Hotep. In the regard of godhood?
Yeah. He's reclaimed, one of those things. The visage of the god of death.
Well, there is only one original god of death. There has been a new one. However, I do know that there has been a power struggle between the two. However, the original four horsemen, death, war, famine, pestilence, all offspring of Lucifer. I do not know of this Hotep.
Oh, Lucifer.
Yes,
Had some good struggles back in the day.
yes. And he is still in a frozen lake.
Let's hope he stays there.
Well, I do know that he is growing in power.
And that's not good.
Well, considering most gods are being killed off, it might not be a bad thing.
Do you know anything about Enya? Oh, Osvit told us about him being attacked by someone named Enya. Oh, he had a bodyguard. He was a Jotun, but of fire.
Enya. I do know of an Enya, but I remember them when they were a child.
What can you tell me of this child?
From my understanding, he had a brother, and he was in a very loving home.
He's got father's spear,
Oh,
and he took Osvit to death's door, so it doesn't seem like he's too happy right now.
so he is the new spear holder.
Yeah.
And you see this inquisitive look as it's trying to process. That is interesting.
Why?
Well, considering the last spear holder,
Who was the last spear holder?
it was Modi.
Modi held the spear?
Yes. When you had left, Talos became the new Godslayer. And eventually, when your father went to sleep, Talos had to become the new king, for your brother was nowhere to be seen.
I'm sure he hated that.
He did, but he did his best. And no, Modi took up your mantle.
Is that how he ended up in Valhalla?
I would assume so, if he lost the spear.
Can you do me a favor, Moonin?
I can do my best.
See if you can track down this Enya, where he may be.
I will try. I have tried before, when I have been looking for your brother.
Talos is out there. I'll find him. Valdonna seems to be the key.
And he goes, okay. I'm sorry if I have saddened you.
Moonin, it's good to see an old familiar face.
kind of looks and goes, I am glad that you are glad.
And I'll just kind of hit him on the head and send
He
him off.
allows you. Yeah, and he goes off. Anything else that you're doing particularly?
Nope. After that, I'll go crash for the
Okay.
night. It's been an eventful day.
It has. So you enter this dead, tired sleep as the four of you rest. Eventually, Thokk, you hear in your head that heavy, labored breathing that you're familiar with. The bow garrosh.
Is it you?
Follow the taste of death. As your eyes slowly kind of peer open and you're in the bathtub, but you still hear that labored breathing in the back of your head. As Manu stands next to you.
Were you there?
And shaken, Manu looks at you and nods. It's Hotep.
Yep. I kind of figured. Can I still hear him?
You can. You can still hear him breathing.
And I'm awake.
You are awake. The bow.
What do you say? The bell?
The bow.
The bow. I grab the sword and shield and walk out
Mhm.
of the room.
You head out as carefully and quietly as you can.
Correct.
Your mouth kind of goes dry as you get closer and closer. The rain has slowly subsided, and you're immediately hit with this stench of rotting fish. As you look over the boat and you see that there are dozens upon dozens of fish belly up, almost like there's a trail going off. And you see this very large shadow in the water that is slowly bobbing up and down as there is a dilapidated and crushed boat amongst the figure. If you want to go ahead and roll an investigation to see if you can figure out what the figure is, you may.
It's a natural 15, but I think my investigation is a -1.
I will say with your natural 15, you have seen this beast before. As you see belly up, bobbing up and down is that whale you saw 3 days ago. Or something like it.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
He said boat.
um,
As Manu kind of looks to the side and he looks, and the lifeboat that you had earlier traversed on is attached to the side as he looks at it and looks back at you.
I look at Manu. I look at the boat. I'll kind of like look back whether or not I should get the others. But I feel like there's no time. And I'll get in the lifeboat
Okay.
and take it down.
So you slowly take it down, and silently you and Manu get into the boat. And it takes a bit for you to row, that smell of stench, the oars hitting the up-belly fish. As eventually you get to this dilapidated ship, this half sunken in, half sunken out, and you hear in the back of your head, closer. as eventually you're able to hook onto the side of the ship that's half in. And now you have dark vision, but this is completely placed in darkness, true darkness, magical darkness. As you hold your sword and shield, and the only thing you can see in front of you is Manu, as his spectral form kind of places next to you.
I've waited, Garrosh, for you.
Well, I'm here. You've been calling, haunting.
No. I want to thank you. Garrosh.
Thank you for what?
Freeing me.
I didn't free anybody.
Tell me if... Give me one moment, please.
Don't like that.
Oh, sounds bad. Sounds
And
always.
I'm
all
assuming
bad.
I haven't taken a long rest either.
You have not.
Okay,
Does a
that's what I
23
figured.
hit you?
Oh, I don't have my armor. Of course it hits me.
So you feel this very sharp pain below your sternum as you feel something almost like a hand grab it as you begin to bleed out in front of it. And Manu looks at your arm and he goes, what the... And the darkness starts to dissipate. And the hand belongs to this massive gauntleted arm as it slowly starts picking you up by your sternum. As you feel your legs and your feet start to lift as you're slowly starting to bleed out. As the lights start to dim and you're able to fixate on the figure. This person is no more than 5'11". They have dark hair that has been matted, and it's almost like it's tried to grow, but it's like it's been under a lot of stress. Their skin is incredibly pale, and carved in it are different onks and markings of death. And there are little cracks underneath their skin of this pink fluorescent light as these fiery eyes of Manu are looking back at you. Of this undead Manu holding you up by your chest. And you see as he breathes, you actually see within the armor the exposed lung and rib cage as he labors to breathe. And Manu goes, what the, that's my body. What the fuck is that? As you are unable to talk, as your lungs start to fill with blood. As Manu, or Hotep, goes,
You have freed any good thing that was holding me back. Now, I have a new mistress. And I had a loose thread to pull. Garrosh.
as bits of his face start to flake. And this visage of Manu, the muscle eventually starts to dissipate, and all is left is a skull with these peering flames of amethyst staring back at you before fully engulfing itself in this pinkish amethyst flame, as we will end it there for the night.
Fuck you.
It's 11. I have to go to bed.
Sleepy
Beddy
time.
time.
Oh, all right. Well,
God damn.
Oh, Jesus.
deal with a giant bone-headed flame head.
Ghost
Next
Rider.
Is it Nick Cage Ghost Rider, though?
It's not.
I'm
It's
a
Manu.
cat.
I'm a cat.
I'm a
Beast.
sexy cat.
Oh, it's a Ghost Rider.
Beast! Guys, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us this evening. It was a lot of setup, but oh baby, what it's setting up? We don't know.
We're cooking with oil right now.
All.
Oil.
Ooh wee. Josh, would you like to read some names of some peeps?
Well, sure. A big old thank you to Commander Root, Electrical Longboard, Gandalf the Babe, Get Affiliated _now. That sounds like a bot.
So does the next one.
Let's do this _streamers, Lurks with 2 X's, Tresino, and Devlin07. And then also, thanks, Mike, for subscribing for the 6th month in a row.
Yeah,
Totally not me.
Mike.
That's another person. It's a different person. It's not me.
It's a different Mike.
a different
Someone
Mike.
you don't know. We went to school with someone else.
Yeah, Mike.
He doesn't go here.
Antonopoulos.
Guys, thank you for hanging out with us. We'll be back next week with an all-new episode. We'll see you guys.
Episode 40.
Episode 40. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
And we will hopefully be doing a podcast soon to kind of catch everyone up and just chat amongst ourselves about what the fuck we think is going on. 'Cause
Also,
we have no
Rip
idea.
Thokk?
Fuck.
Bye, Thokk.
Bye. Nice to see you. Nice
Bye,
to know
everybody.
you.
Bye.
So long.
Nice to play 40 episodes.
Goodbye.
So long.
Goodbye.
Farewell.
Goodbye.
Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
Goodbye.